This video is about multiplying and simplifying radicals. So to multiply radicals, remember that you need to multiply the outside by the outside and the inside by the inside. So what that means is any number that is outside the radical can get multiplied together, and any number that's inside the radical can get multiplied together. And then we're going to simplify if possible. So in the first one, we have 5 root 5 times root 5. Well, 5 and a 1 are outside the radical, so we have 5 times 1 square root, and then we have a 5 and a 5 underneath the square root, so 5 times 5. So that gets us 5 root 25. The square root of 25 to 5, so we now have 5 times 5, which is 25. In number 2, this is still a multiplying. It just has a parenthesis instead of the multiplication symbol. So we are going to multiply the outside 1/3 times the outside, which is 24. And under the root, we are going to multiply the 9 and the 9. So when we multiply, we get 8 root 81. Remember, the square root of 81 is 9. So we have 8 times 9, which is 72. Number 3, again, we're going to multiply the outsides together. So -7 times -3. And under the square roots, we have 11 times 3. So we get negative square root of 21 root 33. Remember that 33 doesn't break down because we just multiply the numbers 3 and 11, and neither of those have other factors, so this is already prime and already simplified. Number 4, when we multiply, we have on the outside 1/2 and 8, and on the inside, we have 6 and 5. So when we multiply here, we get 4 root 30. Again, we can't break down 30 because it is a prime number, which means we're going to leave it already simplified. Number 5, the outside numbers that we have are -3 times 5. And under the radical, we have 12 times 6. So -3 times 5 is -15, and 12 times 6 is 72. Now, 72 can get broken down more because one of these numbers is not prime, and it might actually have some more pairs in common. So when I break these numbers down, I get 9 and 8. 9 breaks down into 3 and 3, and 8 breaks down into 2 and 4. 4 breaks down to 2 and 2. So I have a pair of 2s and a pair of 3s, and I already had a 15 out front. So we're going to multiply the 15 that's already out front, -15, times a pair of 3s times a pair of 2s, and we have this 2 left over still under the radical. So when I multiply that all out, I get -90 root 2. The last one we have is 1/2 times 5 over 3 root 15 times 12. So 1/2 times 5/3, we can multiply the numerators together and the denominators together, so we get 5 over 6 root 180. We can break 180 down into 18 and 10. 18 breaks down to 9 and 2. 9 breaks down to 3 and 3. 10 breaks down to 2 and 5. So we have a pair of 2s and a pair of 3s. And we're going to multiply that with the fraction we already have. So 5 over 6 times 3 times 2 root 5. Well, 5/6 times 3 times 2 is really 30 over 6, which reduces to 5. So this leaves us with 5 root 5. Remember, we can always multiply in our calculator if we're not sure how to multiply with the fraction. Number 7 and number 8, finding the area. So remember, area, we are multiplying the sides together. So in a square, the sides are congruent. So we have 5 root 6 as our other side, and we're going to multiply those together. So we have 5 root 6 times 5 root 6. So the outside numbers here are 5 and 5, which gets us 25. Root 6 times 6 is 36. Now 36 is a perfect square, so we can take the square root of that. So we get 25 times 6 which is 150. Number 8, area of a rectangle. So in a rectangle, they have two different sets of congruent sides. So we're going to use both measures given to us to multiply together. So we have 7 root 6 times 2 root 3. 7 times 2 is 14, root 18. Now, 18 is not a perfect square, but when I do a factor tree, that breaks down to 9 and 2, 3 and 3. So I have a pair of 3s, so I can multiply 14 times my pair of 3s, root 2, which gets us 42 root 2.